Rin Itoshi's character arc in Bluelock is like watching an emo kid get their soul crushed by their older brother, then try to rebuild themselves by becoming a monster that eats their own humanity. It's deep, it's emotional, and it's basically what happens when sibling rivalry turns into a therapy session that no one asked for. His journey isn't about being the best striker, it's about dragging himself out of the hellhole his brother shoved him into. The birth of Rin's trauma. Once upon a time, Rin and Sae Itoshi had a wholesome, Pixar-worthy dream, becoming the ultimate football duo. Then Sae came back from Europe looking like he crawled out of an existential crisis with a side of nihilism and said, "Dreams are for losers, Rin." Sae didn't just reject Rin's talent. He set it on fire, danced around the ashes, and then pissed on them for good measure. During their infamous match, Sae's critique wasn't just harsh. It was an emotionally tactical nuke. The guy practically screamed, "You're trash, kid. Burn your dreams and get a real job." This guy went from, "Let's conquer the world together, Rin," to, "You're the human equivalent of a participation trophy." And that's when Rin's personality gets pulled into the abyss. All the dreams they shared, shattered in an instant like some fragile glass figurine that Sae just knocked off the shelf for fun. And poor Rin? He just stands there, crushed, and starts his sad spiral journey into becoming the world's most over-the-top, traumatized football player. Rin's fallout. After Sae obliterated Rin's soul, our boy decided, "You know what'll fix this? Becoming exactly like the guy who ruined me." Rin buried his instincts, his joy, and any sense of individuality under a mountain of desperation and self-loathing. The dude turned into a walking cry for help poster. Except instead of a hotline number, it's just him screaming, "Please love me, senpai!" And let's not forget the ice cream stick. That thing was supposed to symbolize his luck. Sae dismisses it, Rin throws it into the water, symbolic of Rin's entire existence at this point. The stick sinking into the water parallels Rin's submersion, his struggle to reconcile his own identity with Sae's expectations. Subtle, right? Bluelock really knows how to turn trauma into a poetry slam. Symbolism in Rin's character. Water is an omnipresent motif in Rin's journey, symbolizing transformation, rebirth, and destruction. Water as transformation. In Bluelock, water represents change, but for most characters, it's like a quick motivational dunk. They splash around a bit, get enlightened, and bounce back ready to score goals and kick asses. Not Rin, though. Transformation isn't just a phase for Rin, it's his whole personality. The dude's been submerged for so long, it's like he's trying to out-evolve fish. While others dip in and out, Rin's living life as a permanent, soggy, existential crisis. Water's duality. Water is a two-faced jerk. On one hand, it's the whole cleansing and rebirth deal. Cool, great, very poetic. But on the other, it's also the thing that's drowning him in his own misery. For Rin, this constant submersion is a paradox. Sure, it's helping him grow into the destroyer or whatever edgy title he's gunning for, but it's also slowly erasing the parts of him that made football fun in the first place. His ego, instincts, and joy are all on the chopping block, like some tragic clearance sale on personality traits. The Awakening. Fast forward to the Japan Under-20 match, where Rin goes full psycho. During the match, Rin's inner demons, which have been hiding in the deepest recesses of his soul, finally get a cameo. The monsters in the depths. During his awakening, Rin starts hallucinating monsters pulling him out of the metaphorical water. These beasts are basically his repressed rage and raw talent saying, "Hey buddy, time to stop being a little bitch and start dominating." They drag him to the surface, forcing him to confront the truth. He's not the protagonist of some heroic tale. He's the villain, the destroyer, the guy everyone's terrified to face. Freedom of the destroyer. The destroyer is not bound by expectations or the need for approval. It is a force of nature, primal and free. For Rin, embracing the destroyer means he can finally play football for himself. Not for Sae, not for validation, but because obliterating his opponents is the only thing that makes him feel alive. It's raw, primal, and gloriously unhinged. It is the part of him that Sae's criticism forced him to bury. And then Isagi happened. Rin's awakening as the destroyer marks a significant turning point in his journey. Yet it is not the resolution of his internal struggles. Just as Rin is hitting his peak, Isagi comes in and steals the game-winning goal like it's a casual Tuesday. Imagine spending your entire life trying to prove you're the best, only to have some guy with protagonist plot armor steal your thunder. To make things worse, Sae, the root of all Rin's trauma, watches the whole thing and says, "Hey, Isagi's the future of Japanese soccer." That's the emotional equivalent of getting hit by a truck and then run over again for good measure. Rin at this point, absolutely done. This moment reopens old wounds, intensifying Rin's internal conflict, leaving him to grapple with a profound sense of inadequacy. The future. Rin's arc isn't over, it's just marinating in existential despair. Once he crawls out of the emotional wreckage, he will no longer be submerged. The water will recede, leaving only the destroyer, a force of nature free to play football on his own terms. Freedom from restraints. Rin will be free from the expectations, anger, and pain that have defined him. The destroyer doesn't care about approval, it just destroys. Once Rin fully embodies this, he'll finally play football for the sheer chaotic joy of it. No more drowning, no more self-pity, just pure, unfiltered carnage on the field. The striker he was meant to be. Rin's journey will culminate in his full realization as the ultimate striker, an unstoppable force of instinct, power, and unparalleled skill. And when he scores, he won't need Sae's validation. He'll just need a goal, and maybe a decent therapy session afterward. Final thoughts. Rin Itoshi's story is a powerful exploration of trauma, transformation, and identity. His struggles are deeply human, making him one of the most relatable and emotionally compelling characters in Bluelock. By embracing the destroyer within, Rin has the potential to not only become the best striker, but also to find peace and freedom. His journey reminds us that true strength lies in accepting and embracing who we are, even the parts we've buried the deepest.